morning to all of you. I, Srimati Smaranika Sundar Rai, HOD of Electronics and Telecommunication Department, on behalf of SKDAV Government Polytechnic Rourkela, welcome you all to the inaugural session of the 2 days webinar program on cloud computing organized by Electronics and Telecommunication branch of this institution. This webinar have 4 sessions. The first session of day 1 and day 2 will be delivered by Sri Ramakant Padhi, Technology Analyst from Infosys Limited, Bhubaneswar. And the second session of day 1 will be delivered by Miss Stella Kujur, Lecturer of IT of SKDAV Government Polytechnic, Rourkela. The last session of this webinar will be valedictory session followed by evaluation and feedback. Now, I invite our respected Principal Madam Srimati Reena Rai to say few words about this webinar and our speaker. Madam.
Good morning all. I welcome.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Okay. I welcome you all to this webinar. I hope you will be interested to listen to the expert talks as cloud computing is a emerging area in electronics and IT sector. I welcome our speakers, Mr. Ramakant Padhi, Technology Analyst, Infosys Limited, and our lecturer, Miss Stella Kujur. Further, I express my pleasure that my faculties are showing keen interest to develop their area and to prepare in new areas without any hesitation. Stella Madam, she has accepted the invitation without any hesitation. So, I request all my students to follow the faculties and try their best to enhance their knowledge level. I always say no student is such that he cannot acquire knowledge, though the level of acquiring will vary. But if you try extent, so keep interest and create interest to learn different emerging area which will help you. Am I audible or any problem?
Yes, ma'am, audible.
So keep silence. Keep silence. Okay. One more thing I want to express. The speaker, Mr. Ramakant Padhi, is an alumni of UCPS Engineering School. So which is another point which will improve the interest of the students. You see, your speaker has reached to this level being an alumni of this diploma institutions. So with effort, if you will be ready to accept.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Excused?
Ma'am, please ask Mr. Abhay Mahakud to mute himself.
Abhay Mahakud, please mute. Don't make any disturbance because it will hamper your session. So last but not the least.
Thank you, ma'am.
Last but not the least, I am expressing my thanks to our external speaker Ramakant Padhi, as well as my internal speaker Miss Stella Kuzur for their interest, and I express my thanks to all the participants, the faculties of electronics department and all my colleagues who are supporting to conduct this webinar. I request our speaker to start the session, and the students must maintain discipline which will reflect the image of your institution. Thanking you all.
Yeah, hi, very good morning to all of you. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So there is no disturbance, right? My voice is clear, crystal and clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So first of all, a very good morning to all of you. And thanks to the HOD ma'am as well as the principal ma'am, detailed introduction about me. So first of all, I would like to thanks to the principal ma'am and HOD ma'am and other faculty members to give me a chance to about to provide some concepts on cloud computing. Actually, I don't have much experience on teaching, so I'll try to give the concept as simple as possible. And it's very difficult to also in 1 hour we need to cover all the fundamental concepts. So I'll try to cover all the important topics of cloud. So that's all. So shall we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, sure. Okay, then I'll share my screen. So let me know when you are able to see my screen, right? So my screen is visible?
No, sir. It's not visible.
Okay. Yes, I think there is some technical glitches. Why my share option is not enabled? Yeah, it's visible now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so before I start the today's topic, so I will tell few words about me. So my name is Ramakant Padhi. So I am as a profession, I am a software engineer currently working in Infosys as a technology analyst. So I have completed my I also a diploma student. I have completed my diploma from UCP Engineering School Parampur on 2012. Post that, I have completed my BTech in College of Engineering and Technology, Bhubaneswar, Bhubaneswar in 2014. And post that, I have joined the organization Accenture in Chennai. So there I have worked on up to 2018. And after that, I joined to Infosys Bhubaneswar. So currently, I am working on India. So apart from as a profession, I'm doing this in software job, but if you, it's a boring job. We can 9 to 5 job. So whenever you come to industry, that time you know it's a very boring job. And what is to do? I need to because at the end of the month I'm getting the salary. That's why I'm into job. So apart from the job, I have hobbies on playing and watching cricket and learning new concepts. So that's why I have launched this cloud services, and I have also certified from Microsoft on Azure in cloud computing services like Azure Fundamental as well as Azure Administrator. So yeah, so that's pretty much from me. Uh, so I hope all the students are from second year or third year from diploma background.
Sir, all are from second year and third year. Both
Okay,
second year
so
and third year.
all are from ETC branch or any other branch? They are like IT?
ETC and IT, sir.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, so okay then we'll start our topic today. So first of all, okay, forget about what is cloud computing and other. First of all, tell me what you think. What is cloud? Uh, Anything. Okay. I'll first clear that it will be an interactive session. So if you have any questions or any doubt, you can ask me in the mid of the session. Okay. I'll try to cover your questions. So it will be better if it's a more interactive session, then so that I will so that you will get more concepts from my side. Whatever I know, I will try to deliver. Okay, so whatever in your mind comes, what is cloud first? Anything. It's like the cloud is in the sky, it's going to rain or anything. What you are thinking, what is cloud? Anybody know what is cloud? Do you have any idea? Anyone? Okay. Uh, okay, so if you are thinking like cloud means it's like something in the sky, it's going to rain now. So it's not like that. So it's a technical term in our IT, that's the cloud. So if you, okay, before I tell what is the definition of cloud, I will just, okay, now just understand that cloud means nothing, there is no cloud, it's just someone else's computer. Okay. So you know, right? I think maximum you people are using Facebook, right? Nowadays. So if you are using the Facebook, so definitely you are uploading multiple videos and you are uploading multiple comments. All these things you are doing the daily stuff. So if you see, suppose if you want your past photos you want to see, you can go and easily see in the Facebook, right? So have you ever think that where is that Facebook is storing this data? There is crores of people all enter the world, they are putting their data in the Facebook. So there must be some place, right, where Facebook needs to store all this data, like your videos and your comments and your photos and all this stuff, right? So that is there the concept is called cloud chain. So they are storing this data in somewhere in some computer and they are storing all this data. So like this is the concept of cloud. Okay, I'll tell. So first of all, we'll decide why cloud. Why we need to go for cloud. Okay, so but before I start, so you know, right, about this virtual machine concept, like what is virtual machine? Have you ever taken any remotely to any machine remotely in your system? Have you ever taken? If you are completely, you are not speak anything, then how can I respond? At least tell yes or no. If you are able, have you ever taken any remotely to any machine or not? Suppose from your system, if you want to take. Yeah. So I told her that be interactive. Anything. You don't feel like if I give the answer, it will be wrong, nothing like that. I know that you are, whenever I was also in the student, that time I also don't know about anything. So to ask the question and provide me the response. Okay, so what I need to tell that you know, right, what is web application? Normally, whenever you are deploying any application in the certain set of message, you know, right, what is web application. Have you ever heard the word about web application?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, see, I'll give an example. Suppose in your college semester marks. So whenever the results will come, the results of you have seen in the internet, right? So definitely one application is going on which which stores all your results. So and definitely that be one computer is there where your all the data are there, and one database also there where your all these data should be kept. So whenever you provide your roll number and click on search button, definitely that time the results will come. Right. So the same thing I will give an example here. So I told you like Facebook example, Facebook is storing your data. So similarly, just think this is one. Yeah. So think about one organization, very company. Very company they need to suppose a software company. They have multiple clients. So they have multiple web application is there in the company. They need to support and they need to provide the services. So definitely this application is where the application needs to run. The application needs to run on the computer. So this computer means the virtual machine. I think you guys have heard about the term virtual machine, right? What is virtual machine and all things. It's nothing just a replica of your physical server. Physical server means where all this data, like our normal computer, it's a physical server. So if you want, suppose if need, we can create a multiple virtual machine from our physical server. Okay. So similarly, the web application, there needs to be, this is the all at the web application. So it needs to be deployed in the multiple virtual machines. Okay, and these virtual machines are part of this physical server. Okay, these are the physical server. So whenever so this physical server having RAM, CPU, and all things for this virtual to support the user's request, the application request, physical servers are there. And if you want to store the data, this application data, it will be stored in the storage unit. And to communicate between the storage and this DB, the networking concepts are also there. The networking cable is there. Maybe, yeah, I think you have already read the functions, the networking like box, serial box, and all what is the thing in your diploma. Okay, so think, suppose if if that company wants to hold this web application, to support this web application, they need to purchase all these things upfront. Initially, they need to buy the server, they need to store the server in a one data center. Okay, I'll tell you what is data center. They need to store the server in a particular room. They need to do the cabling. They need to provide the cooling facility because the AC refrigerator, all things they need to put because this data needs to be stored in a normal temperature. Okay, so all the upfront they need to invest. So that's things I have mentioned. Okay, forget about Azure and all things. I'll tell you later. So you need to buy all this hardware upfront and you need to do all the initial investment. Okay. Then you need to you will do then support this application. So there is a lot of setup required initially, and there can be a lot of maintenance cost. So if you want to maintain the server, the storage, suppose the patching activity is going to happen. Maybe you saw like in your mobile sometimes the update happen. So similarly in the server the update needs to be happen, and they need to provide some other there is lots of services that need to be supported the server. So the lot of maintenance costs are then they after providing all these maintenance costs and all the services, then they will able to provide the response to that. So instead of that, suppose you think in the after a few days, the client which is providing the project to the company, they want to take that project. Then already the company have invested large amount on this thing, like storage, server, networking. So in that case, what happened? They have already invested, but that money is going to be wasted. So then what the company do? Company will definitely incur a lot of loss. So here the concept come like cloud. So in cloud, what happens? You don't need to purchase anything. You don't need to purchase the server. You don't need to purchase things. Okay, this is the concept. So here in the cloud, you don't need to purchase the server, you don't need to purchase the storage, you don't need to purchase the networking. Everything will be done by some other people. Only if you want, only you need one computer, you need one virtual machine. Then you can directly go and directly you can create a virtual machine and use the service. Suppose if you need to store your data, you don't need to go and buy a set of database or devices and all these things. You directly go and directly create a database and directly put your data. So there is some person is there, they need to manage all these things. They need to store your data, they need to provide the infrastructure, they need to keep the data in a particular location. So what is that person? That person is the cloud. So here the concept is like, uh, only you have to use the service and you have to give the payment. So there what happens? There you have to set up everything, server, storage, networking. But here only you have to purchase the, if you want to store the data, then you can store and you can give him some amount. Suppose monthly, yearly, whatever amount is there. That is your thing. And they need to take care of all these things. Okay, so any doubts till now? Hello?
Like Google storage.
Yes, correct. Yeah, you are putting your photos in Google Drive, right? So yeah, so have
Phone can wear we need to buy a premium plan.
yes, correct. When Google have provided some certain offer, like this much you can store up to 15 GB, I guess. After that, if you want to store, then that amount you need to give some amount. So have you ever thought where is Google is keeping this data? There is definitely this sort of maintenance is there where you can put your photos. So this is the concept of cloud. So here similarly like for your Google Photos, everything. Suppose if you want one machine where you want to run your application, so then you don't need to go to and purchase a computer or purchase a virtual machine. You directly have to create a virtual machine in the cloud and you can use. So at the month end, whatever services you have used, that much only you have to pay. That is the simplest definition of cloud. So from the initial slide I told, like it's someone else's computer. The cloud means it is the someone else which is having this computer, only you have to use that computer. Okay. So see, what is the advantage here? So here you don't need to invest in hardware upfront. Okay. So actually there's some construction work going on near to my area, so I'm very sorry for that. So here you don't need to invest in hardware upfront. You don't need to purchase all these things like we normally does in our on-premise environment where in a previous slide we have already saw, right? So here you don't need to buy the investment in hardware. So suppose if you want your virtual machine for 2 hours, so you can use that services for 2 hours, stop the services. Then only for 2 hours you will be charged, not for the entire hour. So, but in this case, you can't do this thing in our normal environment. But in cloud, whatever services you want, you can terminate the resource whenever you don't require. And you only pay for how much you use. Okay. So if you use 1 hour, then you can pay for 1 hour. If you use 2 hours, any services, whatever you do in your normal computer, same thing you can do. You can store your data, you can create a machine, anything you can. So that is the concept of cloud. Okay. Any doubt as of now? Yeah, definitely. If anything is there is certain advantages that there for everything, there is certain advantage and disadvantage. The disadvantage we will discuss. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, internet data you have to use the internet data. You have to use the internet to use these services. Yeah, that is the thing. But if you compare these things with your normal environment, in your on-premise environment, I am telling on-premise means which is in your normal, I give an example that one organization has been hosting all this data, that is the on-premise environment. So it is a cloud environment. So if you compare the cost, it will be very big difference. So now all the companies, they want to migrate to cloud because of that. Okay. So, okay, I told now that one data center is there where they to store. I told that whenever you are putting photos in Facebook needs to store this data in some place. Definitely one physical location is there. So this is the example of traditional data center. See, here the lots of racks are there. They need to keep all your data. So to maintain this rack, cooling facilities is required, networking is required, everything is required. So everything needs to be burdened by the cloud provider. You don't need to bother anything. You only need to use the service. So this is a picture of the traditional data center, how they have to keep all these things. Okay. So now you got some glimpse of idea about what is cloud. So cloud computing means what? So the cloud computing is the delivery of computing services. So what are the services? Like I told now that you can store your data, you can get deploy your web application on a machine. So you can use the delivery of computing services, storage, database, networking, software over the internet. So over the internet you can do your all this stuff. So it is the delivery of services. So these are the services. So and it having the faster innovation and flexible resources. Whenever you are doing all this in the on-premise environment, if you compare the same thing in cloud, it is having the faster. So if you want, you can, in 1 minute you can create a computer. In 1 minute you can create a database and you can store the data. It's faster and flexible. Suppose if you want, you can use the service. If you don't want, you can go ahead and delete the service. You don't need. So if that can pay only for cloud services you use, helping lower your operating costs and run your infrastructure more efficiently. So cloud have to take care of everything. How your data is always available. If you want, you can check your suppose 1 year previous data. The data should be available. So cloud having all the headaches. That how to they have need to maintain your infrastructure and scale your business. So this is the definition of cloud computing. Okay. So any question as of now?
ଗ୍ଲାସରେ କ'ଣ ର ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଯାଏ
Hello. Sir, they have a
ଗ୍ଲାସରେ
that is the different services are available. That one will come in our session too. So here we are discussing about the service. I'll come in the places in that places what services will provide to digital that places. Okay. So simply if you tell in one line, so actually the resources on demand. So if you want to take any resource on rent suppose, so you are not having the ownership of the entire PS. You are taking for rent suppose. You are using for that particular one day today, then you can provide that resource to the other. Okay, so the ability to rent the computing resource on demand. So whatever thing I have already mentioned, so same thing you mentioned here. So cloud computing, what are the advantages? You don't need to manage the data center. Means you don't need to be think about where my data is stored, how it is stored. You don't need to think about the data center. You don't need to buy the physical hardware upfront. You can simply all modern up to taken care of Azure. So you can create any number of resources on demand on the cloud anytime, and you can only pay for how much you use. So this is the feature. Means going forward, this thing is going slowly. The entire IT industry they are moving towards the cloud. So what do you think? That in cloud, that definitely it's not like it is in internet you are accessing the service. So definitely that there is some certain area is there where the services physically need to available. Normally, in our traditional on-premise environment, what happens? That you need to create a computer. So definitely in the cloud also they have the physical computer, they are having the physical rack, all things. But that you don't need to manage it. They need to manage all things. You can only access the services over the internet. Okay. So the cloud, whenever we are selling this cloud concept, so there is different operators that are available in the market. Operator means who have having this provide this cloud services. So have you heard the service like Amazon web service? Have you heard the term AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud? Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, Airtel also giving some cloud.
Yeah, slowly, yeah. So many clouds are there nowadays. So many cloud providers are there, but these are the market leader. Amazon Web Service is the first cloud services available in the world who have provided these services. So after 2 years of Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure came. This Amazon Web Service is developed by Amazon. Amazon company has this service. Then Microsoft Azure, which is developed by Microsoft. Then Google Cloud also there. So market share wise now Amazon Web Service having more share, market capitalization. Then the next is Azure and then Google Cloud. And now so many other things like IBM Cloud and as you mentioned like Airtel Cloud and other things are there. But we have a small service providers. So these are the major categories of market. They are providing the maximum services to the company, IT company. So here we will learn about the Microsoft Azure. Okay. So these are the topmost operators provided by Microsoft. So here we will learn about Microsoft Azure. Anything. So all these services having maybe here is the services maybe one thing, but in AWS the same services having different names. But the concept wise all having the same, but the naming convention wise something is different. So if you learn only one cloud, then you can relate to that and you can use the other cloud services like Google cloud, Amazon cloud. So here we'll learn about Microsoft Azure. Okay. So in my Azure, there is 1,000 plus services are there. So it's very difficult to cover all these topics in 1 hour or 2 hours. So I'll cover them so in the module next class. So I'll cover the important services. So 1,000 plus services are there in Microsoft Azure. Okay. So who can learn Azure? So anybody can learn the Azure because it's so you have now the very good chance because you guys are having now you are completed diploma. So you know how fast the IT market are changing. So this is now the cutting edge technology. So you can use so you can technical background. They can also learn these things and candidates with technical background who are very need to validate. Suppose you have already technical background, right? So you have to increase your knowledge in cloud. So anybody can learn cloud. So it's not like that. It is having the prerequisite. If you don't know Java, then you can learn cloud. If you don't know .NET, then you can't learn cloud. So there is no dependence on programming perspective. Anybody can learn the cloud. So it's not like that. If you know the C, then only you can learn the cloud. Not like that. Anybody can learn as cloud. Okay. So now, okay. So now before I move, I provide the concept like resource and resource group. So any boring you are getting, anything you can tell me frankly. Not like that. So are you getting or not?
No, sir, yes, sir, getting.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So I already told you right that in cloud you can create your virtual machine, you can create your DB, you can create your any services you can create. So that services are known as a resource. So whenever you create a virtual machine, definitely one CPU, one hard disk, and one memory it will be allocated for you. So whenever you have put the request on internet, that you can create a virtual machine. So that request to be redirected to Azure. So they need to create a separate rack. They need to arrange a computer. They need to arrange a RAM. All these things for you. So resource means create a physical structure in Azure data center. So I have already told you what is data center. Data center is a physical room where all these things are present, like your RAM, your machine, all these. So whenever you create a so in Azure, everything you have to create. Suppose if you want to create a virtual machine, that's with the virtual resource. So resource means create a physical structure in Azure data center through Azure services. Okay, so what are the services? Same thing. Whenever you have to create a virtual machine, that time it will call as virtual machine service. Whenever you created it successfully, after that it will call as virtual machine resource. Okay, getting? Okay. So these are the examples. I told virtual machine, storage account, data SQL DB. So these are the resources you can create in Azure. So these are Azure services. So once sir, it will not possible to cover you to create. I will show you how to create a resource. I will try to cover whenever I will cover the different Azure services class. That time you can take the example and you can try to create a one. I will create a service and I will show to you how you can create Azure service. Okay. Then we can discuss about resource group. So what is resource group? So whenever you create a resource, then you can logical group this resource. Okay. So you create a virtual machine. Suppose you create a DB. You create a network security group. You create a Azure firewall. So all these things you can club together in a single bundle. Like you can relate to this thing in a folder structure. In folder you can put multiple files, right? So resource group is same thing. Collection of multiple resources. So resource group is a logical grouping of Azure resources. So what's the need of resource group? Suppose I will give an example. Suppose from your college perspective, suppose the IT department is there, electronics is there, other departments are there. So suppose IT department need one virtual machine, need a DB to store your college students data. So they need 2, 3 or 4 services. Similarly, electronics department also needs 3 or 4 services of Azure. So if they club together in a resource group, then what happens? When the billing comes, so it will be easy for you that this billing is for electronics department, this bill is for IT department. So it will be easy for to segregate your bill based on department. So if you put your resource in a resource group, you can this problem will be resolved. So you can simply remember that resource group is a collection of logical grouping of Azure resources. So it's a way of organizing your resources. Okay. So as I have already told, so the screen is visible, right? So,
Yes, sir.
okay. So I told now that you can create a virtual machine in Azure, you can create a DB, you can create a virtual network, you can create a SQL DB, Cosmos DB. So these are resources. So you can combine this resource based on resource group. So see, in this resource group, these resources are there. In this resource group, these resources are there. Then for collection of multiple resource group, it comes under subscription. Subscription means you can easily relate to your suppose you have taken a postal plan. So at the end, month end, you are providing certain bill to that resources, that how much you have consumed the services throughout the month. So subscription is a billing unit. Means suppose in 1 month, how much are your services you are using? That much you are going to be charged, and you have to provide that bill. So subscription. So if you create one subscription for IT department, you create a subscription for electronics department, then whatever bill comes, that comes under that subscription. And then the most topmost hierarchical is management group. So it's like a company. Suppose I will give an example like for your college, SKDAV college. In your college having one management, like management group. They are having a multiple branch. Each branch has to be the different subscription is there. Like according to subscription, you have to pay. Okay. Okay, so I have already mentioned, right, whenever you create the resource in Azure, it needs to be stored somewhere. Definitely one physical location where what the computer, your RAM and your storage, all these things, Azure needs to create in one data center. Okay, so there is different data center available throughout the world, in the world. In our world, there is different data center. So that is called as Azure region. So Azure region is a geographical location in the world where all the physical resources are available in a data center. Are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Azure region means, see, now our area is like our Asia. We are belong to Asia country, and summer belongs to Australia. Summer. So in different areas of the world, Azure have provided a region. Azure have created a physical data resources, physical data center. So suppose now I need to create a resource. So Azure have created one data center in India region. So there we can store our all this data. Similarly for Australia region, if anybody wants to create a resource in Australia, so there is also data center available near to Australia. There you can keep the data. So Azure region is a geographical location throughout the world where all the physical resources are available. Physical resources I have already told, right? We are doing data center in a set of data centers. So in Azure currently it has 54 regions. So in the world Azure have 54 regions where it can provide their data center. So which is now more than to any other cloud provider. Now I have told like major cloud provider like AWS, Google Cloud. So if you compare, they don't have that much region. Only Azure having the 54 more regions compared to them. So that means what? That it will give better flexibility. Suppose think that in India, if you want to create a resource, then if the regions are not available, if the data centers are not available in India for Azure, then what you can do? You can create that data center in Australia region, but due to the distance, you have to pay more. If in India, if you create that resource, then it will be charged you less. But if you create that, if you use the data center of Australia, then it will be charged you more. That's why Azure provided, still now, it's still growing, so still now it has provided 54 regions throughout the world, which is more than other cloud providers. Till now, nobody has provided that. Okay. Whatever I told, that mentioned here. So it gives flexibility to customer to deploy application. So wherever you want, it's not like that you are from India, you can create virtual machine in India region. You can create in Australia, you can create in US, you can create in Europe, anything. But cost perspective, it's better if you create in India because you have to charge less. So it's giving the flexibility to customer to deploy application where they need. Okay, and not every region is available to everyone. Okay, there is certain restriction also that this region is available to certain specific people. Okay, that one we will cover it later. But suppose there is some services are there which is more expensive services. So that services only available, suppose from in US there is some security constraints are there. That these services only available only in US, not only US people can use that services, not other people. That's why certain services not every region is available to everyone. Means if you are from India, then you can't create certain services in US location. Okay, so that's it. Are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as I have already mentioned, in the world, this is the location where Azure ID is little small. Okay, I'll share this slide with you so that you will get a clear idea. So this is the location where Azure have put the data center. Means the physical location where you can store your service. Okay. So I have already covered like what is Azure subscription. So subscription is a billing unit. I have told right you have created suppose 5 resources. Then at the suppose if you choose monthly plan at the end of the month you have to pay for that resource whatever you use. So whenever you create an account in Azure, that time one subscription is created for you. So it's a billing unit. Means whatever bill is generated, that comes under this subscription. So based on how much you consume, that bill against your subscription. And you need to pay at the end of billing period. So you can relate the same thing like in normal hours, suppose you have postpaid, you postpaid, you have used the service and you have to provide the payment. So like this also here. So everything is on in internet. Only you have to use the money. So here also you have the option like you can select your billing period as monthly, quarterly, or yearly, anything if you want. Okay. So common subscription model which everybody use pay as you go. It means how much you have used, that much you have to pay. So you have to use the services. First of all, it will not ask you any money. Then suppose if I use this 5 the virtual machine, 2 the database, 3 virtual network, 2 data storage services, then that much you will have to pay. So this is a pay as you go subscription. So maximum people are using pay as you go subscription. But nowadays but for a company's perspective, suppose a company needs to support an application, it's a critical application. Like suppose give an example like IRCTC. So lakhs, crores of people are booking the tickets and cancelling the application, right? So this is a mission critical application. If the IRCTC will stop for 2 days, definitely the problem will be solved. So in that case, what happens? That suppose if they use the services of Azure, then they know that for the next 1 year or 2 years they need to use that service. So they can purchase the services upfront. That next 2 years I definitely need this service. So please provide me for 2 years, and they will provide you in a cheaper rate. Okay, you can relate to this thing in our daily life. Suppose if you purchase 5 kg potatoes, if you 1 kg is 20 rupees, if you purchase 5 kg, then they will give you 18 rupees per kg, if they price 9. Right? So if a company wants the services for next 3 years, so a company knows that 3 years I need the services of this mission critical application. Then Azure will provide this service with a little bit of discount. Okay. So these are the subscription is clear? Yes or no, at least tell something. Just a
Yes, sir.
Okay, actually the guys are not giving any response, so if you give a response then it will be, I think that you will be able to understand the concept, then I will move forward. Okay, so whatever I told, see, like this suppose in your college, not college, suppose in an organization example I give, suppose in an HR department, finance department, marketing department is there. So marketing department use this much services of Azure. So it's come under one subscription is for marketing department. So this much service used by the finance department. So this subscription is for finance. Same thing is for HR. So how much you have to use, that much you have to pay. So under one account you can create multiple subscriptions. Suppose if today you have created Azure account, you can create multiple subscriptions. Like see here for the organization they have created 3 subscriptions under a single account. Okay. So you can create the subscription accordingly. Okay, till now we have covered all these subscription parts. So now we'll discuss what is cloud concept. Okay, so it's a bit of theoretical thing. So maybe you'll feel it little bit bored, but we'll give some time. So definitely whenever we will do the practical things in the next chapter, then that time you will get a clear idea. It will be more practical, so it will be more interesting. Okay. So cloud concept is the availability. So one of you are asked, right, that if a technical glitches is going to happen if I put my data in the Azure is not available. Yeah. So that problem having also Azure have the issue here. That what percentage of time Azure system responds to user request. Suppose if you want your data to have you can access your 1 year data, that time the services are not available. So just now I told like mission critical application. Suppose for IRCTC, you want to suppose one user wants to cancel the ticket. That time that services is not available. Maybe there is some issue happen in the system. In the data center of Azure, where the critical location is there, data center having some issue. So definitely there is the issue, right? So that's why always having the Azure having the concept that how much time the services are available. So Azure needs to be taken care. So they have to provide an SLA. SLA means service level agreement. That these services that needs to be available in a year. It needs to be available 99.99% of time. Maybe there is also 0.01. So time it will be not available. Okay, so we will see about these things in the next chapter of our cloud services. So just you can see, we have to use the service like available state, availability zone, other cloud, Azure site recovery, other things are there. So availability means what percentage of time system responds to user request. That's the concept of availability. We will see all these things in the services chapter. So this is the introduction thing. After I have not gone through all these services, we will go through in the next chapter. Okay. Scalability. Scalability means what? Availability means you understand, right? Scalability means the ability of the system to grow and shrink depending on the number of concerned users. Okay. Forget about this thing what they have mentioned here. I'll tell you that normally in the big billion days, what happens? That all people are trying to put the order in the Flipkart at the same time. So definitely the traffic will be more. So that time the demand will be more. Then definitely the Flipkart needs to provide services to all the customers, right? So that time the traffic will be more. Then here Azure having the features like when and the demand will be more. That time they also have the concept. They also need to provide the service when the demand will be when the billion days have over. That time also the traffic will be less. So that time also they need to provide the service. So the ability of the system is to grow or shrink depending on the number of concurrent users increase or decrease at a particular point of time. Users have increased for certain duration or decrease. That service also cloud has also there. Scalability. We can see this what is scalability services. So, but here scalability does not have to be done automatically. Here we need to manually provide the service. Because suppose the users have increased, then the traffic, the CPU percentage of suppose one virtual machine is supporting this application. Suppose the users have increased, then the CPU percentage going beyond 90%. So in that time, we need to create another virtual machine in Azure. That's why the load is distributed with it. So that's the concept of scalability. So we have it does not have to be done automatically. We have to create it automatically. We have to create a virtual machine for support it. So this thing is there, and so here the disadvantage here is not done automatically. So maybe there is a service is there where you can access it, where you can do things automatically. When the traffic will increase, it will automatically create a virtual machine to support that code. When the traffic will be less, that time they will reduce the virtual machine because it's not made, right? So there the concept come like elasticity. So here the automatically you can grow or shrink based on application demand. Scalability what happens? Scalability grow or shrink, but it does not have to be done automatically. You have to manually create. Since Azure having the certain set of people, they have to create a virtual machine. They have to create the virtual. They have to create a DB. But in elasticity, the advantage over scalability elasticity must be done automatically. Here the system is automatically grow or shrink based on application demand. Okay, getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so whatever I told you, I have one picture. See, now suppose the demand is less. So suppose in the big billion day happen, the demand is going to be increased. So now here suppose the application is supported by one virtual machine, is able to handle the traffic. So in that case, the same virtual machine not able to handle the traffic, right? Because the load for traffic will be more. So maybe there is the need of multiple virtual machines here. So here automatically the virtual machine there is some condition is there. If the CPU percentage go beyond this, or any other criteria like if the memory consumption is going beyond this, then create one another virtual machine to support the request. Because users don't need to be users don't need to be shuffled. They need to use the service. Then so how Azure can achieve this by creating this new additional services. So here see when the application demand is goes down, when the billion data over, again if this still 4 resources they appear in, it will be unnecessary because definitely you have to pay for this 4 virtual machines. Then what cloud will do? What Azure will do? Here the Azure will be remove the unnecessary things because here whatever the traffic, it will one virtual machine is sufficient to handle that traffic. So So no need of 2 or 3 virtual machines. Then Azure is remove that virtual machine. Okay. So when the demand increases, resources are automatically asked. When the demand decreases, resources are automatically. Okay. So then we have the concept of like agility. Agility means the ability to change recipe based on changes to market environment. See, you know, like markets are dynamic. So if you see in the 5 or 10 years before, we have learned only C. At time C is the most popular language. But if you now see now most of other languages came like Java, .NET, Angular JS, other so Ruby, so many things. So market is always changing with the latest technology. So Azure also provides the services in such a way that whenever the market changes, whatever the market the latest requirement is there, like this they need to provide the service. So with the concept of agility, they have provided the services, whatever the market, whatever the latest changes market wants, that services Azure will provide. So the ability to change rapidly based on changes to market environment. Okay. Then fault tolerance. Suppose I told you, right? Suppose in IRCTC if you book a ticket, that time the services are not available. Then Azure also having the self-healing capacity. Means, suppose if any fault happen, like power gone in Azure data center, or a network having issue, or a natural calamities happen on that particular location where you store your data in Azure, then what happens? Definitely the client will be not be able to bother about this. The client needs the services 100%. So Azure provides the services in such a way that suppose if any issue happens on the particular location, then they can provide that, they can handle that fault automatically. So for this we have so many other services like availability state, availability zone. Means whatever data you are storing, I'll just give you some brief idea. It will divide in 3 locations. It will copy to 3 locations. Suppose this, so this different location having separate power, separate networking, separate things are there. Suppose this location having this issue, that power is not available. Then what Azure will do, that also data are same the data are copied in 3 locations. The data now the Azure will provide the data from this location. Right. So what you think that your services is available, but actually here what happens, that one location having the issue, then Azure will be it will be automatically try to correct that location. What happened, like power is there. So that's the concept of fault tolerance. We will see more detail about this thing in our next lecture. Okay. So whatever I told you mentioned here, to make our system fault tolerant, we can use the concept of like availability zone, availability state. So we will see what is availability state and availability zone in the next section. So then disaster recovery. Okay, so I have already mentioned, right? Suppose the system having some failure, suppose the system having some issue, that suppose natural calamity happens, then whatever you want to store your data, the data will be going to loss. Then how the system will check, how the system will be recovered from that failure? It's similar to fault tolerance. But here the thing is, suppose if you store the data, suppose your data is lost, then you will be not going to get the data, right? Then definitely you have to, then Azure have to provide you the find a master of why your data is lost. Then Azure having the disaster recovery system, that if any disaster happens, what they need to do. Okay, that service is also available. So the ability of system recover failure with a period of time. Yeah, we can achieve disaster recovery by replicating one region to another region. Suppose you know, right, in India maximum time the natural calamities are happening, especially in Odisha, like Fani, Amphan, others like. Suppose if Azure put a data center in our area, suppose in Odisha, suppose that time if any natural calamities happen in the data center, entire power is gone. Then how so the users data which is stored in the data center, how it will be available? And what Azure have already done, internally they can apply whatever data is stored in this region, it can copy to this region data in suppose in other states, like suppose in Gujarat. We have stored the same data in Gujarat data center. Suppose in Odisha data center having the issue, then we can provide the data from Gujarat data center. But as your data is stored in 2 locations, 2 data centers, definitely it will charge you more. So it all depends on you. If you want to store your data in multiple locations, then you have to pay more. If you don't want, then suppose if you think it's a mission critical application, I need this data by hook or by crook 100% of time. Then you can take this facility of Azure by copying the data in different regions. So So if one region having issue, one data center having issue, then you can access the data from another data center. So this is the concept of disaster recovery. So whatever I mentioned, like the expense will more, and it depends on business criticality. So if you need this data, then you have to apply, you have to use this, avail this feature. Okay, still now I have already covered 30 to 35 minutes. So still now any doubts, anything, or you are getting bored? Tell me frankly.
No, sir, no.
Sir, my biggest concern is how safe will my data will be at that.
Okay.
I mean, in simple words, I'm just putting my data in someone else's computer.
Yes,
So,
yes, yeah. Okay, that one we'll see in the detail in the services sector. Okay, the next collection. Okay, so moving to the next. So we have seen the economy of scale. Okay, so what is this concept? So I have already explained the same thing in my previous slide. So forget about this thing what I mentioned here. So if you, I have already given the example, like if you purchase 5 kg potatoes, if you go to a market, then if the kg is 20 rupees, then if you purchase 5 kg at 5 kg, then he will provide you 18 or 19 rupees. So similar case is happening to Azure. So lots of companies providing their data in the Azure. So definitely Azure needs lots of computer, lots of physical hardware, lots of RAM, lots of DB to store this data. So for Azure, that's why the Azure needs to purchase these things on a large basis. Whenever he purchases that thing from the infrastructure team, largely basis, definitely he will get a discount. Yeah, so that is the concept of economy of scale. And this is the ability of carrying out tasks more efficiently at a lower cost. Okay, while operating at a larger scale. Means Azure is operating at a larger scale, that's why he purchases things upfront, so that he will get a discount. Yeah, so here the cloud provider means what? Our Azure can actually bought this hardware at a larger discount. Why at a larger discount? Because you have purchased more a large amount. That's why it got a discount. And they can pass this cost to the customer. Yeah, definitely. Whenever they pass, whatever services you have used, that service definitely you have to charge at the end of month, right? So definitely you can pass this cost to customer. So if the number of customer increase, definitely the chance of service cost can go down, right? So similar example, suppose in your room if you are staying 2 members, but if the room is very big, 3 members can also easily stay. And if another member stays, definitely your rent amount will be going to less, right? So similarly, if the now customers are increasing in the Azure, then they will need more, the Azure will need more physical hardware. And if they purchase more physical hardware, then we purchase at larger discount. So whenever the Azure purchases things at a discount rate, definitely you have to give the less amount. Suppose the initial day if you give suppose $5 for a virtual machine. So now more members are there, you have to give $3 per a virtual machine at the end of the month. So that is the concept of economic scale. If you purchase at a larger scale, the rate, the cost will be less. And that services are using the Azure. Okay. So now we will see what is capex and what is opex. Yeah. I have already provided this idea in our starting like PowerPoint slide that in our on-premise environment, in our company, suppose in a company, if you want to the application, you have to purchase a DB. So this is the spending money on physical infrastructure upfront. So on the upfront, you have to purchase all these things without adding a single profit. You have to put you have to create a room, you have to put all the racks, you have to purchase the CPU, RAM, computer, same concept here. So without earning a single profit, you have to provide this large investment. And if what is expected here, that return will come later. Means when the client will provide the project to company, company will host that application of that client in this infrastructure unit, and that company will be it will provide the money to company, and company will be get the return. So that's the ultimate aim of this company. So here the company having so much hierarchy. They need to manage all these things: server cost, storage cost, network cost. How suppose if any issue happen, suppose a natural disaster happen. So in cloud we have the concept like you can replicate this to another issue. But here what happens? Suppose any natural calamities happen. Then suppose the entire building having the power issue. Then you can't create another building in the same location, right? In order to copy the data. So the entire unit having this, the services will be not available, and definitely the client will be not happy, and he will take that project from company and give to another. So So that's why this is the thing of capital expenditure. You have to purchase all things upfront. That's why traditional companies are using this capex method. But nowadays clouds are using OPEX method, operational expenditure. Operational expenditure means everything you have to buy from rent basis. So I have already told a couple of times. If you need, you can purchase the service, use it, finish it, stop the service, give the money, cash up. You don't need to think about anything. Where is my data? What is issue is going to be happening data? So all things will be managed by Azure. Only you have to keep the money. Yeah. So this is the money spent every day on an operating expense like service, product. Here you will be charged on hourly basis like how much you use. So for 1 hour you have used your this DB. 1 hour you have used this PS. So your CPU cost, your processing cost, your hard disk cost, everything will be combined and it will be collected and it will be charged to you accordingly. Okay. And support agreement also there. So you have asked me one question, right? That what happened going to issue happened to my data. So definitely there will be agreement between Azure and you that yeah, these services will be available this much time. If this much time this data is not available and if any security breaches happen to your data, then Azure will be provide you the payment. It will not going to happen. Very sure it will not going to happen. But maybe there is a chance that sometimes it will happen because Azure having lots of features there, lots of facilities are there. So that's why you can replicate the data into multiple digits. So it will not going to happen. But still, if it happens, Azure will provide a fine amount to you. Okay. So obviously, OPEX is cheaper over CAPEX, operational expenditure, because here you don't need to purchase anything upfront. So how much you use, that much you have to pay. So definitely nowadays companies are using OPEX, means cloud technology, over CAPEX. So it is the traditional method of using the all the services, all the deploying of web apps. Okay. So now we will see. So till now you are clear, right? At least you are getting some idea, right? What is cloud? If anybody asks you like what is cloud, what is at least you can tell, right? It's not, cloud is something a technical thing. It's not like in the cloud in the sky, right?
Yes.
Okay. So okay, I will cover now the cloud services model. So there are three cloud service model available. One is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Okay. So before I go to this concept, infrastructure, platform, software. Okay. So okay, I'll come to this diagram later. So I'll give one simple example to you. Suppose if you, I know that most of people are staying in the hostel, but nowadays it's the pandemic, you are staying in the home. Suppose if you want to prepare a chicken, okay, you have to, then what you have to, suppose you want to prepare a chicken in the home, then you have to first you need the gas, you need all the ingredients like ginger, garlic, onion, you need the chicken, and then you know how to prepare, then you have to prepare it, then you have to wash, and you have, suppose first you have to wash chicken, you have to then first make the ingredients, then put the chicken, and then finally the chicken curry is going to happen. Then you have to serve this in your, then you will have it. Okay. After that also you have to wash your dirty utensils whenever you use. So this is the thing is going to happen. Then now people are thinking like no, this much things I will not do. What I will do? Suppose if you are staying in a home, so your parents for them they have bring the chicken, they have already they have already prepared the ingredients, means like ginger, garlic, and they have already cleaned the chicken. Then they will told you, okay, so you can prepare it. So I have all things ready for you. Only you have to prepare and you have to eat. So here what thing happens? That you have little bit of work you have to do. Here in the initial days you have to do everything. If you are staying in the hostel, that time you have to manage everything. But if you are staying in home, suppose your mom or dad says, okay, I bring the chicken, I do this thing. Then you have to only prepare the chicken and you need to eat it, and after that you need to wash your utensils down. So here the work is less. Okay. Another most advantage is, suppose another advantage is here, you have directly ordered it on Zomato. Okay, in Zomato or Swiggy you have to order it. Then the person you have ordered and the person will come. Then here you don't need to be prepared. You only have to sit and enjoying your cricket match or anything. Only you have to have it. You have to put this thing in your utensil and you have to then you have it. Then, but still you need to clean your utensil after that. So here the work also less, but still you need to do. Suppose you are a completely lazy person, you don't need to do anything, but you want to eat chicken. Then then what you have to do? Suppose in your near to your room, one place is there, or a hotel or restaurant is there. You directly go there and eat the chicken. You don't bother about to wash the utensil. You only eat and you wash your hands and come back. So here nothing you have to think about, like how it is prepared, or whether you need to bring the chicken, or you need to prepare the ingredients, or only you have to have the chicken and come. Okay. So here nothing is there. So similarly here. So you can relate that example with our IT example. So traditional IT, whenever cloud was not there, I have already mentioned the same thing. You have to manage the networking. Suppose you have to host the application. You have to manage the storage. You have to manage the server. You have to manage the virtualization. You have to install the operating system. You have to install the application. You have to put the data in the DB. You have to run that data, and you have the middleware. So everything the company needs to be burdened. Company needs to provide the support. And definitely there will be a lot of headache on the company to support this thing. Then the cloud came. Okay, so cloud will tell you, okay, I will reduce your work with few I will divide your risk, and I will take few products, but still you have to do these things. Okay, so here what that cloud will need to do the networking, cloud will do the storage, server, virtualization, operating system. Here the cloud will need to install the operating system. There needs to be reduced the service, but still few things you need to manage, like you need to install your application, you need to put your data in the DB, you need to run the application. So this is the infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure is provided by cloud, but other things you need to manage. Okay, okay, I'll give that slide of this in the later. Okay, then platform as a service. Platform as a service because here also, suppose definitely here for this to manage these services, you have to pay to the cloud for managing operating system, networking, storage, but still you have to manage it. But in platform as a service, only you need to install the application and use that application. But all things need to be managed by Azure. Slowly the responsibility of Azure is increasing. Definitely Azure will charge you more that he needs to. Still now he does the only operating system part, but for middleware runtime he needs to install the middleware, only you need to put the. So this is the platform as a service, only you have to put the application. So here definitely you have to give the more amount to Azure. Okay, so you don't want to headache anything. You have don't put your headache in your head. Everything is to be managed by Azure. Only you have to use the service. Then that is the software. Everything will be get as a service from Azure. Delivered as a service. Okay, I will give the example. All these things. So you see, infrastructure as a service. Example is Azure Virtual Machine. In Azure Virtual Machine, what happens? That you don't need to think about networking. You don't need to think about storage, CPU, server, operating system. Everything is managed by Azure. But still, in that virtual machine, you need to install the application. You need to put the data. So here you don't need to manage the underlying infrastructure. It will be managed by the Azure for you. The physical server and storage is managed for you. So here what happens? That this helps remove the capital expenditure, reduce ongoing cost. So if you set up this virtual machine in your own location, on our old example, like in a company, they need to provide, they need to create the room, they need to show purchase the computer, they need to put the CPU. So that burden is going to be over. But still we have the burden like we need to install the application also. So Azure Virtual Machine is the infrastructure as a service. Okay. So platform as a service was, platform as a service means not only virtual machine, still you don't want to install the runtime. You don't want to install the, you only use the application. You don't want to put the data. So here you don't need to manage the underlying infrastructure or even the underlying operating system. You can just hosting your data. You can only put your data on the local system. You don't want to install the operating system. You don't want to install the infrastructure. Everything will be done by Azure first. And then it also reduces the development time. Because if you install your application, definitely the time will be more. Maybe some issue happen, error came. So if the same thing will be done on Azure for you, then definitely the time will be less. So you have to hosting your data on your web application. So the example is Azure SQL DB. So if you want to store the data, only you have to put the data in the DB. You don't need to think about what is the DB, what is the DB size. Everything will be managed by Azure for you. Okay, this is example. Then the next thing is from a software as a service. You can relate these things with our chicken example. Okay. Software as a service means what? That you don't want to, you have to go to the restaurant and eat the chicken. You You don't want to think about anything to wash the utensils, prepare the chicken. Similar here. Here you don't need to manage the underlying infrastructure or even the underlying operating system platform. Anything you don't need to manage. You just start directly using the software. Okay, the example is Gmail. In Gmail, what happens? Have you ever think about where is the Gmail is working, where is the Gmail, where the Gmail servers are stored, how the Gmail application is deployed? You are not thinking about this thing, right? You are only sending a mail in Gmail or in Facebook also. You are only using the Facebook as an end user. You are not thinking about all these things. So these are the software as a service. Only you are using the software. But services are provided by some other. But here in the case, it's Azure. Okay, any doubt in this free service, infrastructure, platform, software? Yes, no, anything?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, so next we'll move to the next cloud model type. So there are three cloud models here. So public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. Okay, so we'll cover one by one. So first we'll move to the public cloud. Okay, public cloud means what? As its name suggests, so public cloud means it will be available to everyone. So these are the services that are available over the public internet. Anybody can use. Suppose I have given the example like Azure Virtual Machine. If you want, you can virtual machine. Your friend also, he wants, he can create a virtual machine. So then there may be a chance that whatever virtual machine you have created, that virtual machine physical location, wherever that Azure stores the physical computer, in the same computer, suppose another person who is your friend, he has created that virtual machine. That data also is, that service RAM or CPU is to be stored in the same physical location. Means in one physical local server, you can create multiple virtual machines. Right? So suppose in one physical location, your data is there as well as your friend's data is there. Right? So it's available to public. You don't have the ownership on that where Azure stores your data. So you can store your data in the public platform. So these are the services that are available over the public internet. It's available to anybody who wants to use them. Anybody who wants to use the service, you can use. Users then pay based on service. So how much you use the service, that much you have to pay. So here all the server and storage is managed by the cloud provider. In that case, it's Azure. So Azure needs to manage all these things, but it's available to anybody, so he can use the service. So what is the advantage of this public cloud? Just give me a minute. So what's the advantage you are thinking? No, obviously the most common advantage of Azure, no need for capital investment. You don't need to investment in your capital upfront. Everything will be managed, everything will be taken care by Azure. You normally don't pay any money upfront to use the cloud service. You don't use, suppose in traditional center what happens? You have to first provide the money to create that data center room and servers. You have to buy the server storage. But here you normally don't pay any money to use that service. You don't need to manage the underlying infrastructure also. Okay, so everything will be done there. So public cloud is simple that whoever is able to create the service over the internet. Okay, so definitely there is a chance that your data in the public cloud, the disadvantage here maybe there is a chance of data security risk on the data. So there it comes like the private cloud. Okay, so private cloud what happens? So suppose if you are suppose you are creating a virtual machine in private cloud, then in that case, whatever the physical host where your virtual machine is stored, in that physical host, no other people. Suppose if your friend create another virtual machine, that virtual machine physical host is not in your physical host; it's separate. So you have the complete control over that physical host. So here what happens? Whatever data you are storing, it will be not available to other people. So that's why this private cloud is not available over the internet. So definitely there is a how you can achieve definitely the cloud service are in certain different location, right? So here you are using. So that's why Azure have used one dedicated network. In Azure dedicated private network, you are using that service. It's not available on the public platform like internet. It's available on a secure dedicated network. I hope I have answered your questions. I think somebody asked me like how my data is secure, right? Hello?
Yes, sir, I'm clear now, sir.
Yeah. But definitely, if you are creating this in private cloud, definitely the charges will be more because you are taking the special facility of Azure. So yeah, so this same thing I mentioned here. These are the services that are normally used by the users of a business or organization. Suppose an organization having critical data, like suppose the banking application. Normally we are using our net banking, right? Our user ID, our password, that needs to be confidential, right? So if a company wants to provide the same data to Azure, if it's stored in public cloud, then there may be a chance that data leakage will going to happen, the breach is going to happen. So that case company offers to take private cloud. Yeah, the charges may be it will more, but company will be offered to use the private cloud. So then the private cloud is hosted either in the company's on-premise environment or it will be a charge. Yeah. So I have mentioned that in the cloud, all the physical hosted will be stored in cloud data center. So if you want, you can create in your area. Suppose in your company's environment, you can store your data. But that service will be managed by cloud. But that environment will be cloud created for you. The private cloud, so you're getting right. The private cloud will be hosted either in the company's on-premise environment. So if you don't want to take at least 1% of this, that I don't want my data will be going to be breached, then in that case, what Azure will do? Whatever Azure data center, suppose you are not trusting Azure data center also. That Azure data center, Azure will create a data center for you in your location and store your data and manage that service. But then you may be asked that why if Azure will create a data center in my area, then why I will not I will create myself, right? But suppose if you don't have the capacity to provide the services, like you don't have the suppose if you maintain, maybe there's some natural calamity happen, then definitely the data will going to be breached. They are going to be lost. Then Azure will create the environment in your area. They need to provide the maintenance support as well as other support. So the Azure will provide that service to you. But in that case, the charges will be more because you are taking the special services from Azure. So the same thing I mentioned, the private cloud is hosted either in the company's on-premise or it is provided by third service provider. So what is the advantage of private cloud? Yes, the business has complete control because it's completely secure. So you have the client have all the control over the environment where is given data is storing all that. They can implement their own security protocol. Suppose if you want that some security that provides the data to additional security, like nowadays if you know, right? Suppose if you want to open the Gmail in another laptop or mobile, then it will ask you some how to you have to sign. You are getting the notification, right? You are open your mail in another laptop or mobile. So now the security feature is increasing day by day. So you can implement your own security protocol and exist there to your environment. So whatever data you store in that environment is complete controlled by business. Business means client. You are storing your data, then you can you have the complete control over the data. That where is my data, and who having the authorization to my data, who will take my data. So it's a private cloud. Okay. Next is like hybrid cloud. So hybrid means what? Hybrid means the combination of, as its name suggests, the combination of public and private. So suppose if you need these two clouds, public cloud as well as private cloud, means that suppose you have investment heavily on your on-premise environment. Suppose you have already purchased so many servers, storage, DB, and computers in your current on-premise means your local data center. If you still use the Azure service, then whatever investment you have done is going to waste. So you don't want to use only the Azure service. You have to still use your on-premise environment service. Then here if you are using your on-premise environment and also you need the security protocol also. Then in that case that's the private cloud. But still you need some additional services like Azure availability state, availability zone, Azure content delivery network. So some new services. So for that services, you need to access that services over the public internet. So you need both public service as well as the private service. So that's the combination, that is a hybrid cloud. So you see the combination of public and private, which allows data and applications to share access both cloud environments. Okay. Means here you have the complete control over on-premise as well as you have to use the public service. Like suppose you want to create a virtual machine in cloud, so that is a public service. But still you want to store your data in your own location. That is a private service. So you are using the private cloud as well as the public cloud. So that is the combination. This is the hybrid cloud. So obviously you can ask to cloud provider to provide the security on your on-premise environment. So they will provide security. So this is the combination. So depending on your business criticality and your business requirement, you can choose which cloud model you choose, public or private or hybrid. So yeah, whatever I mentioned, same thing. Advantages you mentioned, the business can still use their existing environment. Whatever existing environment which you have any data, you can use that. Okay. They can keep data which needs to be secured by their standard in their on-premise. So in your on-premise environment, the data are there, but that needs to be secure. So you can keep the data which is secure. And they can extend their infrastructure to the cloud without making a further investment. But still, as well as you are using the on-premise, but still you want to take the investment of further investment on cloud services. You have still avail the cloud services feature. Then you can use the public cloud. So this is the combination of public cloud. So cloud model, any doubt? Public, private, hybrid? Yes, no, any?
No, sir.
So I think we have already covered the topic in 1 hour. So yeah, now if you have any questions, you can ask. So we have done our session. Yeah, thanks to all. Yeah, if you have any question, anything, you can ask me. No question? Nothing. So you can ask me where you have been. Suppose if you want to use the Azure as a demo purpose, you can create an account also Azure. It's free. For first 30 days, it's completely free. You can create. Suppose I will give you that link like where you can create the services. Portal.azure.com. Okay. In the next section, I will provide the details. There you can create. Suppose if you want, you can create a demo. Like you have to create a virtual machine. You can create that services and you can use that service up to 30 days. It will not charge you. After 30 days, it will charge you. Anything you can ask me.
Student, ask any doubt. Hello, student. You can ask any doubt.
If you are not asking any doubt, it means whether you have understanding all things or you are not getting anything. Which one is true?
Poonam, ask any doubt, Poonam.
So what are the job opportunities for our branch in cloud computing?
Yeah, see, it's not specific to any branch. If you are from mechanical, electrical, or electronics, that cloud will be. I have already told you, right, in the session. Anybody can learn the cloud and become I'm done the certification and become a master in the cloud. So it's not like if you have the basic knowledge about IT, what is computer, what is things, and it's also not like the prerequisite is to be there. Like you have to learn, if you want to learn cloud, then you have to learn this technical language like C, Java, .NET. It's not like that. Anybody can learn the cloud and become a cloud expert. So, and it's a feature of the IT. So everything is nowadays slowly all the companies are moving towards the cloud and provide and so it's a very good chance that you guys have to learn the cloud and become a certification. So any cloud you can do, Google Cloud. I have told you today for Azure. It's not like that you can do only in Azure. Anything you can do for Amazon Web Service or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud, IBM Cloud. Many more are there, but these are the market leaders. Azure, AWS, Google Cloud. So it's not specific to any branch.
Okay, anyone, you want to ask any question? You can ask now. Otherwise, we will end the session. Thank you, sir. Within the short span of time, you explained the fundamentals so nicely and making the session so interactive. So thank you all. So So tomorrow we'll continue with the session. So you all are requested to join in time, or you have any doubt you can ask at the end of the session. So thank you all. So tomorrow we'll continue with the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
धन्यवाद सर.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.